Okay, I guess you all know the song Imagine from John Lennon, because that's the next song we're going to do. Yeah, and if not, as always, you look on YouTube and you certainly will find it there. It's an easy song, it's not very difficult, and it's in C, so we're using only white keys. Let me start. There's a verse, there's a refrain. It starts very easy. So only 3 notes. G, 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 B, B, A. So the fingers 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 2. And that is repeated 4 times. Now, I have to say here that it's not always exactly the same. It depends a bit on the words that John Lennon sings. Sometimes he uses 4 times G. Especially in the first sentence. Imagine there's no heaven. Now you see 4 times G. Sometimes it's 2 times G, but I write it this way. So be aware that it can change from time to time. And even the B, sometimes it's only 1 time. So be aware of that, even if I write it the whole time the same way. Then, so that's the first line, which is repeated 4 times. Then the next line is as follows. A, C, A, C, E, E, D, A. With the fingers 1, 3, 1, 3, 5, 5, 4, 1. So first practice your first line 4 times, then the second line, and then try to link them together. I do first the first line. I will play it only 1 time, and then I go directly to the second line, even if it has to be played 4 times. Then we go to the third line. So that's B, 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 C, D. And with your fingers simply 2, 2, 2, 3, 4. And then the last line of the verse. E, G, E, D, C, with the fingers 3, 5, 3, 2, 1. So that's the whole verse. As I said, it has to be played first slowly and then you slightly increase the tempo. Now the final tempo at what we are going to play it is 72 beats per minute, because that's the tempo which we will use in the next lecture when we're going to play it with the band. Of course, you start slower. You can start at 60. Now there's not a very big difference between 60 and 72. You can start at any tempo you like, of course. The important thing is that you have to be able to play it without any mistakes. And when you can play it at a certain tempo, you can then slightly increase the tempo till you are at 72 beats per minute. I will play it with the metronome. I will directly put it on 72 beats per minute. Now, it's important to count well. When you know the song, you know there is an intro that goes something like that. And then after that, you begin with this. Now, of course, this intro, you don't have to play it. It's the band who plays it. But just to show you how it starts. Because there is, when you count with it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. See that I started on 2? Yeah, so you have to start on 2. So when I will play it now with the metronome, I will not play the intro now when I show it to you. I will just play the metronome. It will it will count 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again 1, and on the 2 it starts. Let me put it on. Okay, I'll put it off. So that's the verse. Now, after the verse, you normally play another verse, and then comes the refrain. But let me start now with the refrain. So that's the following. That's the first line of the refrain. That's the notes A, C, B, A, B, C, C. With the fingers, simply the fingers 3, 4, and 5. Huh? So 3, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 5. That's the first line. Second line. That's the notes A, C, B, B, A, E. Now the fingers 3, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 1. Let's go to the third line. So that's the notes A, C, B, B, A, B, C, A, G. And the fingers 3, 5, 4, 4, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2. And the last line of the refrain is C, C, D, E, D, C, D, E, C, C. So that's the fingers 3, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 3, 3. So again, only those 3 fingers, 3, 4, 5 on C, D, and E. So that's the refrain. Let me play it with the metronome. And again, you have to start on count 2. So you hear the metronome 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and on the 2 I start. Let me put it on. Okay, as I said, you have 2 times the verse, 1 time the refrain, and then again verse, refrain. Now, very important, how do we go from one verse to the second verse? Or how do we go from the verse to the refrain, or from the refrain back to the verse? So let me talk about that. Now, let me go to the last line of the verse, this one. And I will then go to the next verse. And it goes very quickly. Okay, let me play the last line of the verse and go back to the verse. So that's as follows. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see, I go directly back to the refrain, to the verse, sorry. Don't wait, don't make a pause. I will do it once again. I will put the metronome on. Okay, let me do the same thing for going from verse to refrain. See, it's exactly the same thing. You start on the same moment. On count 2, you start with the first note of either the verse or the refrain. So let me do again this last line of the verse and go back to the refrain. Now you hear there's no pause. You go directly from verse to verse or from verse to refrain. Let me put this off. Okay, from refrain back to the verse. So we have this last line of the refrain. So there's a longer pause. So how do you have to count that? So let me count it for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a longer pause. Let me do it once more. Let me do it with the metronome actually. Etc. Okay, practice it well. And as I said, you slightly increase the tempo till you're at 72 beats per minute. And then you go to the next lecture where you will play it with the band. So, see you in the next lecture.